Hey everyone, welcome to Saturn Slam Review, bringing you a very timely, like us to receive credit for this, review of NXT Takeover Portland.
We're on it and we're honest.
We are honest.
And
So,
the onus is on us. Something alliteration.
the transition I was attempting was we are honest. So, when I say at least that this was the best takeover since Takeover New York at the very least. If not, you go. I don't know if there was one better than that prior, but definitely the best takeover since Takeover New York, without question, in my mind at least.
hmm It was consistently good all the way through. The crowd was hot. People on the subreddit hated it, so must be great.
Yeah, I like. I've seen some criticisms floating around of this show, and some of them are valid. Like I'll concede some points, but overall, like I guess like, this was the NXT style of wrestling, as blatantly plastered all over a show as can be. So if these people claim to be fans of NXT, you would think that you know this show would be right up their alley. But I
hmm
digress. The main complaint I've seen is that quote unquote every match was just a kick out fest, which is not true of either women's match really. And yes, I will say that there were a lot of near falls in the other four matches. But I will also say that I bought into more of those near falls than I have in a long time. So numerous, sure, but low quality, I can't say so.
hmm It helps that a lot of these are, I don't know, more so than other takeovers. Very built up matches.
Yeah,
These
that's
are all
true.
big hitters.
The stories for these were really big, really well built up for periods of weeks and even months in some cases, and everyone's favorite long-term storyline, like 4 years and counting now, uh, continues and it opens a new chapter. All right, well, that's enough for like general overview. I think we can start talking
Yeah.
about some of these matches here. Starting off with Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic for the NXT North American Championship. Uh,
The apex of this feud,
yeah,
these matches.
likely that this is going to be the last one they have for a while. They advertised it actually as such. Morrow, on multiple occasions, said this was the final chapter in their rivalry or saga or whatever phrasing he used. This one was, I think this one was the best of the four that they've had.
hmm I mean, you would expect it to be like they've taken they should have taken the best stuff from all of their previous matches and put it together in sort of a thesis statement of this is the essence of Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic.
Well, sometimes you peak a little bit earlier, but yeah, they that's basically what they did. They took a lot of the greatest hits, if you will, from their other matches, but they also introduced some new wrinkles and had some crazier sequences that really showed off what these guys are capable of. And very impressive. I figured Keith Lee was going into this, winning going into this, but there were a couple times where I'm like, oh, maybe they pulled the trigger on the switch. But no, Keith Lee wins following a second Spirit Bomb after, like, the whole finishing sequence
Yeah.
of this match was a sight to behold. Like, we've seen crazy finishing sequences before, but from guys like the size of Seth Rollins. I've never seen two big guys have a finishing sequence this crazy before. in my entire
Well,
life.
it was what, like 2 spirit bombs, and then like a Spanish fly.
It's not even
Like,
just the spirit bombs. It's like the fucking rolls and counters and like go behinds that they were doing to slip out of finisher
yeah,
attempts was stuff that you see like from Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle, not Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic.
Keith Lee was omnidirectional in this match.
He certainly was. He was everywhere doing all sorts of stuff. Crowd's still really into Keith Lee. Like I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but like they have not cooled on him one iota.
Which is great because after this you can just throw him into the next hot thing. Like, where does because they can't let him cool off. That's the most important thing. Is he's really hot right now and he's stayed hot.
Yeah.
So he needs to jump right into something, and I have no idea what it is. Maybe I have some idea. We could brainstorm, but
I have a few people I could see him feuding with, none of which particularly excite me. But
my brain just wants to go to Damian Priest again.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, that wouldn't be bad. I think Damian Priest is a tremendous talent. And I wouldn't mind seeing that match. And they did kind of have him set up as another top contender for the belt. So that's like the obvious. I also had like some thoughts, maybe Jackson Riker, maybe Cameron Grimes.
Cameron Grimes. I actually would appreciate that. Because, as we've said before, he's hit the turning point. He's done the thing that we always is like, oh no, what's he gonna do? And then they always hit that turning point. Which I would love to see what they could do with that, just for sheer curiosity.
Yeah, the only weirdness with that is that Grimes is the heel in that program, and it's hard for me to think of a believable match structure in which Cameron Grimes is the one getting the heat.
I could see him fitting very well into like a chicken shit heel kind of role.
Yeah.
Where
But
Keith Lee can just dominate in the ring and he'll just blow it off.
we shall see, I suppose.
Yeah. And then
possibly.
now here's the thing: what if Dijakovic's like thing became like he just chooses someone and he just keeps wrestling like match after match after him until they get to another takeover. Like he does this thing, but with just wrestler of the quarter.
I don't know. I'm not sure where you
philosophy
go with Dijakovic from here. I hope they do something with him because they pushed Keith Lee was the guy they pushed out of that pairing, but I think Dijakovic is far too talented to just mire in the mid card with no direction.
Yeah. All right. Here's my weird fourth dimensional take. His next feud will be with Drew Gulak. I don't know why that's popped into my head, but I want to see Dijakovic wrestle Gulak.
That would be neat, but Dijakovic would make Gulak look like a fucking toddler.
Make Gulak look like goulash.
Anyway, that gave way to Dakota Kai versus Tegan Nox. A lot of people had this match picked as their like sleeper match that could possibly steal the show. While the possibility for that certainly existed at one point, this match did not steal the show, and in my opinion, was the weakest on the card.
It was like street fight stuff, but it didn't go to the fourth degree that a lot of street fights go to.
Yeah, it didn't get pushed super hard. There wasn't like any like crazy oh my fucking god spot. Like honestly, the table bump that Mia Yim and Dakota Kai did after their match was more extreme than anything in this match.
Yeah, again, we fall under the realm of women's division can't break tables. They
Yeah,
crush the legs, and she sort of falls over in the big spot there.
yeah,
They do some interesting stuff with chairs, though.
they do. They did a lot of Pillmanizing. Who's it? What's it? Tegan Knox got very aggressive at one point, and that led into the finish. Actually, she set Dakota Kai up on a table and put a chair around her neck. Went up to the top rope to Pillmanize it from the top, but was intercepted by Rena Gonzalez, a woman who had not appeared on WWE television since like the second round of the last Mae Young Classic they did. But she comes here.
She's here.
Yeah, she tree slams Tegan Knox through one of the two tables. I think what happened on the second one was she just missed it. Like she wasn't tossed far enough.
Fair.
But yeah, and then she raises Dakota Kai's hand. Important to note here, Dakota Kai looked confused throughout all of this. I don't know if that's just how she looks after a long wrestling match or that's part of the storyline. But she
had those like furrowed brows. Like, what? I can't do it. I don't have the capability to make these guys go up. I don't have those muscles. I envy those who do. I've just got these. Yeah, but she had that like, what's going on sort of face. And she, like, the image I remember of this match is like her just sort of on the floor looking up.
Yeah.
That's where she spent a lot of the time this match.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a spectacular finish.
Yeah, the match up to that point was just all right, and then this finish, it's like to have a fuck finish is one thing, but and like to debut a new wrestler at Takeover is a respected tradition, but like Jesus, Rena Gonzalez in this match, like, I guess
strangely,
this is probably going to extend their feud to at least another Takeover.
It's interesting. Now I think about the finish here. I'm not as mad as I probably would have been. I would have been like mad if this was like main roster, in the main roster treatment, because a fucked finish on a street fight in principle sounds like a war crime. Like, you know, at the same time, impossible and incredibly illegal.
Wait, that's illegal.
It's like, what? How do you do that? But I don't know. It wasn't heinous here. It was just like, oh.
It's because it happens so infrequently. Except, I guess there were two such finishes on the show tonight.
But one of them was a little more important.
Yes, I would certainly say so. Finn Balor wrestled Johnny Gargano in what was my match of the night. It was a tough call. I liked the tag match, and the main event a lot. I felt the main event was a little too long, and the tag match not long enough. So this match was like my little bear. Yeah, my like just right.
Yeah. Yep. Who knew that the intensity of Finn Balor and the energy of Johnny Gargano mesh well together in a pay-per-view match?
Who would have thought two good wrestlers have good wrestling match? Although I will say that I will go as far as to proclaim that this is the best match Finn Balor has had since leaving Japan. I
would not disagree.
Think of any match he had in his first NXT run that was better. Certainly nothing on the main roster came close to this, except that AJ Styles match. But, this was head and shoulders above that for sure. Like, I can't think of anything that he's done that I've liked more.
They let our boy fly, spread his wings out.
He definitely
in the big cacaw.
He definitely works so much better as a heel. Like babyface Finn, kind of like, it's not that exciting. It's kind of bland.
Yeah,
And
he's
that was
like suave guy,
yeah,
right? That was when he was face.
yeah, like that sort of thing. He did the demon too, but like how he wrestled as a babyface, wasn't particularly exciting because he doesn't have a whole lot of moves, and like the more methodical pace that a heel works someone over with lends itself to someone with a limited move set better. And like Finn, like you pointed out, is very intense. And to do the kinds of moves he does very intensely and sinisterly works well, which is why he works better as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny Gargano is, of course, Johnny Gargano.
Baby eternal. Well, I redact that statement.
We'll see. I have some I have some thoughts on this.
Okay. Theory crafting at the end.
Yeah. So yeah, they went like 27 minutes, and they had some. This was the match this was like the match more than any other match that I went into this not having any sort of pick or prediction. I really thought this could have gone either way, which is why like I bought in hook, line, and sinker to at least 2 near falls in this match. Really thought that was over, but it continued.
Yeah. So it was a triumph of booking.
Yeah, and for sure. And Finn Balor, after fighting out of some sort of attempt, reversing something, I don't remember. Oh, Gargano went for a shotgun dropkick, but Balor countered, hit him with the coup de grace in the 1916 for the victory. A little, not what I expect. Like I thought this could go either way, but you know, I thought Gargano winning made a little more sense. It makes more sense now after the end of the show, but the question of what's next for Finn Balor is not one that's very easy for me to answer.
I did he already have a run at the North American Championship?
No, maybe no. He wrestled.
Yeah.
He did a triple threat with Keith Lee and someone else.
Okay, because I would like to see him, and I would like to see a build up to him versus Velveteen Dream for a number 1 contenders, or a shot at the North American Championship.
I think Velveteen Dream should be in the world title picture at this point, personally.
Yes, I don't disagree there. I think probably after WrestleMania, I would like that.
Yeah.
I think he should be there. We'll see though.
I mean, he seems like what they did at the end of the show notwithstanding, he seems objectively like the most logical challenger. He has a history with the Undisputed Era and a reason to want to get back at Adam Cole. You know, once he gets past Roddy, he's the next top babyface that Adam Cole has not beaten. So it's not impossible. Like perhaps they're doing a separate match with these the other two. But maybe they're trying for a triple threat. Who knows? Maybe it becomes a fatal 4-way before it's all said and done. I prefer a straight singles match, but fatal 4-ways can be fun too.
Yeah. Especially because it's WrestleMania will be multi-man mania.
Multi-man mania's running wild, brother Jack. Then we had Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. I liked this match a lot, actually, and I think it was a nice difference in style between a lot of the other matches on the show, which were hit a big move, kick out, hit a big move, kick out. This match was built around not wanting to get hit with the finisher. So, Rhea Ripley worked really hard not to get hit with the KOD, and Bianca Belair worked really hard not to get hit with the Riptide, And in the end, Rhea Ripley was able to, from a already elevated position, catch Bianca with a riptide and score the pinfall to retain her title, to be congratulated with fisticuffs from Charlotte, who was just there. And
she would have pointed at the sign if they had one.
Yeah. The match is set. The NXT Women's Championship will be defended not at Takeover, but at WrestleMania.
Yeah. This is like the best fast lane ever.
Yes, this is the best fast lane they've ever done.
Right? It's like angle setting up for WrestleMania here in a satisfactory way. Yeah. And they're not actually doing Fastlane this year. Thank God.
Are they not doing Fastlane?
I didn't think so.
They have a March pay-per-view. There was Elimination Chamber in March.
Let's look it up. Let's make sure we're right about this, because I think if they don't have Fastlane, things will be great. Because Fastlane has always been, for our newer viewers, our gripe with Fastlane is that it is always the place where the cool matches that would be set up for WrestleMania get blown off.
It's the place where hope goes to die. 2020. Why does it not show me scheduled events and only past events?
Let's just look up Fastlane 2020, and we're gonna see if it exists.
Nope.
Super Showdown is going instead of Fastlane this year.
Yeah, so
which is fine. I'd rather have the puppet show of Super Show than Fastlane.
Yeah, because I won't watch the.
Mm-hmm. And actually, that's not a bad idea, because Super Show is like, it's sort of an all-star event, and for those who just come in for WrestleMania every year, it's the show before that, and it's got the classic, the standouts coming on and be like, oh yeah, I'm hyped for WrestleMania.
It's good because it's a glorified house show, so no storylines will be ruined going in or out of it.
The more I hear this, the more I like it. Good job, guys. Super Show 2020.
And so yeah, Charlotte makes that match official. Interested to see what they do at Takeover in its stead. Next up, we had the Broserweights against the Undisputed Era. I predicted a Broserweights victory on the program last week, and I turned out to be correct. This match was real good.
Hoorah. Yeah. It's amazing. It's one of those things that the Broserweights is one of those phenomena that just sort of popped out of nowhere. Like, if I hadn't watched anything since the last Takeover, and I come in and I see this, I see Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle coming out in a golf cart with the Dusty Classic trophy, yelling, "How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?" with a fucking like sing along fish under it.
Yeah, that was.
I would just be like, what happened?
What year is it?
What did I miss?
Yeah, for sure. Even if you told me at the beginning of the Dusty Classic that they'd be coming out on a golf cart saying, "How much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish?" I wouldn't have believed you. Bobby Fish, notably, did not get his Just for Men touch of gray applied. He was looking notably older and more silver.
Salt and pepper, emphasis on the salt. But wrestled fine.
Yeah, wrestled
great.
Wrestled just damn fine. This match was fun because they're all really known for like their chain wrestling and mat work, and you got a healthy dosage of that in this match, as well as some ridiculous high spots. And in the end, the Broserweights prevailed with the what they do, the powerbomb into the Enziguri thing or whatever. GTS in the Enziguri.
Yes, that was
One of their tag team maneuvers.
I I guess that's no, it's I'm looking at here. Yeah, it's just they don't have a name for it yet. They just toss a guy into Dunn and he hits an Enziguri on him.
Right. All right. Yeah, they have like 3 different tag team finishers, none of which are named.
Get some fucking branding on here, guys. Come on, you already got the shirts.
Where's Stephanie McMahon when you need her?
Also, side note, the way these the 2 matches leading up to it, and the way the card was paced, I'd say it did a fine job of avoiding death spots.
Yes. You broke up you did a good job of breaking up stuff with the women's matches, which offered a different sort of pace and feel.
But at the same time, they were not piss break.
No, they weren't.
Matches.
So like, you had the big Titanic clash in the opener, and then you had a street fight and then you had another straight singles match, and then you had a different style singles match with Belair and Ripley, and then you had a tag team match, and then you had the other big singles match.
Right, and that's probably why the tag team match didn't get as much time as they probably should have deserved. Was that they not just that they wanted to give time to the main event, I think they just wanted to keep up the pace. They're just like, let's not drag too long on the penultimate match.
Were it up to me, I would have given 3 minutes to the tag match and taken 3 minutes from the main event, and I think it would have been perfect. But the main event went all 33 minutes that it went, and for the most part, really good.
Packed.
I don't think that it's as good as the Gargano matches. Not to say that Ciampa isn't as good a wrestler as Johnny Gargano, just that Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa don't have the same level of chemistry.
Right.
They worked well together, but you could tell that they weren't it wasn't like an instant click sort of thing. It wasn't like Shinsuke or Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura just like touching for the first time and creating magic.
Even just hearing that.
Hearing the names and then thinking about what they have Sami Zayn doing. He and Nakamura are together in a stable now of fucking listless mid-carders.
Hey, big roster.
Sami Zayn is probably the worst wasted talent.
Yeah.
In the NXT main roster transition.
Because
he was so good, and then they just did nothing with him.
Because fucking Vince caught a side eye of him, and they're like, "Oh, he's the guy who is the on and off feud with Kevin Owens. I like that Kevin Owens guy. He does some cool stuff. Do a Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens feud, and then we'll do a friendship feud. Okay, we'll put him back. That's the Sami Zayn. I think is the wrestling equivalent of the second video game you pull out at the sleepover. It's not the one you want to play first, but it's not the one that you want to do as like the top of the night. It's like the what do we want to do while we wait for the pizza?
Yeah,
it's like that's, and you're playing fucking and it's Windjammers, and you're like, why are you playing Windjammers as a fucking filler game? You need a goddamn house tournament of that shit.
So they wrestled for a while, did some good near falls. The Undisputed Era got involved. Ref took a bump. Kyle O'Reilly got more directly involved. Ciampa got a visual pin on Adam Cole. And then fast forward a little bit. Ref is still out. I think he took a bigger bump. And Johnny Gargano comes down. And he's got the NXT title. Picks it up off the ground. And he's saying something to Ciampa. And then he whacks Ciampa over the head with the title belt, allowing Adam Cole to score the victory following the last shot.
And a big fucking neon sign says Ciampa, Gargano, Cole three-way at WrestleMania.
It would seem that's the way to go. A lot of people are saying Johnny Gargano is turning heel on Tommaso Ciampa. Are we sure Ciampa's a babyface? Number one. Number two, I didn't see this, yes, hitting a dude with the title to cost him the match, that's a heel move. But in the broader context of the Gargano and Ciampa storyline, why were they even friendly to begin with?
I agree there. I think that was the part that didn't quite make sense, was they just wanted to have them for that Worlds Collide match. They're like, here, just don't.
I get around.
I wanted to
War
brush
Games.
That under the rug.
Yeah,
just be like, no, that didn't ever happen. That was all in your mind.
I get around War Games because it was an enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. They both had issues with the Undisputed Era. Then they did the tag team thing, which was a little weird. But now I feel like this might not represent a full heel turn for Gargano. I'm sure he'll have of course he'll have a justification. Even if he were a heel, he'd have a justification. Mm-hmm. But I think this is going to be a justification that a lot of people agree with, and then he and Ciampa are kind of going to exist as tweeners, or continue to exist as tweeners.
Yeah, I do think Ciampa was face, at least going into the match, because when they used the hospital footage and the rehab footage.
Oh, the crowd definitely treated him like a baby face, but what has he done that's really face? He hasn't really
no redemption, you're saying?
Yeah. He wants his title back, and he's feuding with the Undisputed Era, which just happened to be heels.
Yeah, we'll see how it breaks down as we check in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. This does, like we said, this does feel like the culmination event. This is the fish that's been getting away from Takeover main events for years.
Yeah, this is, I guess they're going to give us the payoff to the storyline that it deserves. I'd rather them stay a little more nebulous with face heel alignment, because is it really going to feel good? How do you blow it off then? The clear answer before was Johnny Gargano finally gets back over Tommaso Ciampa. But now if you turn Johnny Gargano heel and Ciampa's the babyface, that's just you have to start all over again. That wouldn't be a very I don't know if satisfying conclusion is fair, but it wouldn't be as sensical as it would have been to have Gargano win the title at Takeover New York over Ciampa last year, which is what was going to happen before he went and hurt his neck.
Mm-hmm. I really don't know. They have some tough thinking to do.
Wednesday night is going to be very interesting. I would normally say I'd expect a bump in NXT viewership, but I think that everyone who watches NXT on USA was going to watch
tuned
this,
in.
Yeah, everyone watching this pay-per-view is going to watch it anyway. I don't think they're casual eyes on the Takeover that would otherwise tune in NXT.
Now, buy rate is not the same as attach rate, right? It's not analogous.
No, I wouldn't say so.
It would be nice if they had a sort of not a strict attach rate, but I guess a sort of index, who's watching the show, who's also watching the pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they.
That's super easy to find.
Yeah, especially through cable. Every cable box has an ID, and they can see, who's watching it, and then who's purchasing the pay-per-views. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we shall
So
see. It
yeah, what they gonna do in the meantime?
should be an interesting road to WrestleMania. We are
Yep.
a little under 2 months away.
Yeah, closing in. But in the meantime, the next pay per view we'll probably be covering will be Revolution.
Yes, that's coming up on Leap Day.
Hmm.
Same day as episode 200 of our
A lot of
show.
stuff.
Yeah,
And
so we got a lot hovering around that date.
yeah, it's going to be busy. And it'll be interesting, just thinking about Revolution now. It'll be interesting to see. Uh, I think this is the first pay per view I want to say since our attitudes have moved on AEW. So
Yes.
they started to consolidate their planning and their talent and all that jazz, and see if it passes, see if it translates to a nice tight pay per view.
Yeah, pay-per-view is usually like where you have the matches, like all the blow-off matches. And still haven't loved every major AEW like big match on a Dynamite. Still not in love with the style they use for a lot of those matches. So we'll see. Like I'm sure I'm gonna like Moxley and Jericho because they're two
Yeah,
people who work the style that I enjoy and know how to do it. They've worked together before. I've seen it. I know it's good. And
I seem to.
yeah, everything else we'll see. But yeah, big shows Wednesday. Dynamite has a packed lineup. NXT should be very interesting following the events of this show. And we'll be back later this week to give you reviews of all that. So until next time, be well, stay safe. Grapple like it's 1995.
Peace.